the world of money and success, few books have had as powerful an impact as Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. This isn't just a book about wealth, it's a book about mindset. It's a story about how two men shaped one boy's understanding of money, work, and life. Robert Kiyosaki grew up with two fathers, one rich, one poor. His real father, whom he calls Poor Dad, was an educated man, a teacher, and someone who believed deeply in formal education and hard work. But he struggled financially all his life. His best friend's father, whom he calls Rich Dad, was a businessman, not highly educated, but wise about how money truly works. He understood assets, liabilities, and the power of financial independence. From these two men, Robert learned two completely different philosophies of life. One told him to study hard, get good grades, and find a secure job. The other told him to study how money works, invest in assets, and make money work for you. This book is the story of those lessons, a story that has changed millions of lives around the world. About the author, Robert T. Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is an American entrepreneur, investor, educator, and author. Born on April 8, 1947 in Hilo, Hawaii, Robert came from a middle-class family that valued education above all else. His father was a well-educated man, holding a Ph.D., and worked in the education system. Robert attended high school in Hawaii and later went on to join the U.S. Marine Corps, serving during the Vietnam War as a helicopter gunship pilot. His military experience taught him discipline, leadership, and courage, lessons that would later influence his business mindset. After the war, Robert entered the business world. He worked for Xerox, started companies, and even failed in several ventures. But he learned, and he learned fast. His biggest breakthrough came not from business school, but from lessons taught by his rich dad, the father of his childhood best friend. This man, though not formally educated, was financially free and knew how to make money work for him. Today, Robert Kiyosaki is best known for his Rich Dad series, a collection of books that teach financial literacy, investing, and entrepreneurship. His mission is simple: to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. In the early 1990s, Robert realized that most people were financially struggling, not because they weren't working hard, but because they had been taught the wrong lessons about money. Schools teach math, science, and literature, but not financial literacy. Most people grow up learning to work for money instead of learning to make money work for them. Robert wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad in 1997 to bridge that gap. The book became a global phenomenon, translated into dozens of languages and selling over 40 million copies. It challenged the traditional belief system and inspired millions to think differently about wealth, debt, and financial freedom. At the heart of Rich Dad, Poor Dad lies one of its most powerful lessons: the rich don't work for money. Robert was just 9 years old when he asked his rich dad how to become rich. His rich dad smiled and said, "Don't work for money. Make money work for you." This confused him, but the lesson was profound. Rich Dad wanted him to understand that if you spend your life working for money, you'll always be a slave to it. But if you learn to control money, to understand it, direct it, and multiply it, then you'll achieve freedom. Poor Dad believed in job security. He thought the best path was to find a stable job, earn a paycheck, and retire with a pension. Rich Dad believed in financial education, in learning how money works, and in building systems that generate cash flow even when you're not working. The key lesson? The poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. Robert realized that wealth isn't about a big paycheck. It's about financial intelligence. Chapter 2. Why teach financial literacy? Most people confuse being rich with looking rich. They buy cars, clothes, and gadgets to appear wealthy, but inside they're broke. Rich Dad explained that true wealth comes from owning assets, not liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. It's that simple. Yet so few people truly understand it. Rich Dad told Robert, "You must know the difference between an asset and a liability, and by assets. For example, a car you use for personal travel. Liability, a car used for deliveries in a business that earns you income. Asset, a house you live in and pay for. Liability, a house you rent out and earn income from. Asset. Financial literacy means understanding how to read financial statements, how cash flow works, and how to build your own financial foundation. The rich don't just earn more, they manage, multiply, and protect what they earn." Chapter 3. Mind your own business. Rich Dad told Robert something shocking at a young age. The poor and middle class work in other people's businesses. The rich build their own. Even if you have a job, you must learn to build assets. Investments, real estate, royalties, or side businesses that generate income for you. Robert encourages people not to rely on one source of income. Instead, create multiple streams. The rich focus on building their asset column even while working in someone else's company. He learned that owning a business, stocks, real estate, or intellectual property gives you freedom. It's not about quitting your job. It's about using your job to build your wealth. Chapter 4. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. This chapter opens a hidden door into how the wealthy legally minimize taxes. Rich Dad explained that the poor and middle class pay the most in taxes because they earn money as employees. They work, get taxed, and then spend what's left. The rich earn through corporations. They earn, spend, and then get taxed on what's left. A corporation isn't just a big company. It's a legal structure that allows the rich to protect assets and reduce tax burdens. Rich Dad showed Robert the order of money flow for the rich: corporation, expenses, taxes, income for the poor, employee, income, taxes, expenses. Financial literacy means understanding the rules of money and playing the game smarter. Chapter 5. The rich invent money. The rich don't wait for opportunities. They create them. Rich Dad told Robert, "Opportunities are not seen with your eyes. They are seen with your mind." Financial education allows you to see opportunities that others miss. The rich use creativity, leverage, and risk management to make money out of ideas. They invest in things others fear, they study markets, and they think differently. When the average person says, "I can't afford it," the rich ask, "How can I afford it?" That mindset shift changes everything. Robert emphasizes that intelligence solves problems and produces money. Lack of financial education leads to fear, which leads to missed opportunities. Chapter 6. Work to learn, don't work for money. Poor Dad said, "Go to school to learn to get a job." Rich Dad said, "Go to school to learn skills." Robert learned that life rewards those who are versatile, those who know a little about marketing. Robert learned that life rewards those who are versatile, those who know a little about marketing, accounting, investing, sales, and communication. Rich Dad encouraged him to work for knowledge, not for paychecks. He said, "The more specialized you become, the harder it is to replace yourself. But the more you learn, the more doors open." Learning about money, people, and business gives you power that money alone can't. Chapter 7. Overcoming Obstacles. Even when people learn about money, they still struggle. Why? Because of fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. Rich Dad taught Robert that fear of losing money keeps people poor. Everyone loses money at some point. The key is to learn from mistakes instead of running from them. Cynicism, the voice that says it won't work, kills dreams faster than failure. Laziness hides behind excuses. Bad habits keep you stuck. Arrogance makes you stop learning. Financial freedom requires mental and emotional mastery. It's not just about what you know, it's about what you do consistently. Chapter 8. Getting Started. Rich Dad's advice for starting your journey to wealth is simple but powerful. Find a reason greater than reality. A strong why keeps you going through challenges. Choose your friends carefully. Surround yourself with people who challenge and inspire you. Master one formula, then learn a new one. Keep growing. Pay yourself first. Build the discipline of saving and investing before spending. Pay your brokers well. Value advice from professionals. Be an Indian giver. Expect your investments to return value. Buy luxuries last. Let assets buy your luxuries, not your salary. The power of focus. Concentrate your efforts. Give to receive. Generosity opens doors and opportunities. These principles, when practiced, turn financial literacy into lasting wealth. Chapter 9. Still want more? Here are some to-dos. In his final chapter, Kiyosaki gives practical steps. Stop what you are doing and assess where you are financially. Look for new ideas and opportunities. Take small steps before big risks. Learn from successful people, not just those with degrees. Invest in yourself. Books, seminars, mentors. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and never stop growing. He ends with a challenge. Don't just work for money. Work for freedom. Rich Dad. Poor Dad isn't a book about quick wealth. It's about freedom through knowledge. Robert Kiyosaki teaches us that financial freedom is built on mindset education, discipline action. The rich think differently, act differently, and learn differently. They understand that money is a tool, a servant, not a master. You can work for money your entire life, or you can make money work for you. The choice is yours.